is BEA, beautiful. And of course, if you do not see it as a beautiful day, then I seriously don't know what to tell you. It is beautiful. Every day is beautiful. Most importantly, it's beautiful because you are seeing yourself alive. It's beautiful because you can drink water, you can eat food, and some has none, and some even are in a hospital. And since you're not in the hospital, life is beautiful. You're only gonna know when life is really bad, when it's not beautiful, is when you have issues with your health, and that's when you know you will appreciate. So, from what I've got to understand about life is that you must appreciate everything that comes to play in your life, whether bad or good. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. There's too many things connected to being grateful. So I want you guys to be grateful today, no matter what. Be grateful as you hooked up with me on this beautiful Women's Wednesday on the Nighttime Show. Just be grateful. All right. So you're welcome to the show. It's a lot of minutes gone past the hour, 9 o'clock. We want to start. And I just want to keep it good and keep it collective, calm, and of course, keep it realistic. It's the same thing that we talked about last Wednesday. It's the same thing we're going to talk about today because we have not finished that series of understanding a mother and a daughter relationship. The reason why we're talking about mother and daughter relationship is because today is actually dedicated to every woman, and every woman can be mother, every woman can be a grandma, every woman can be a sister, every woman can be an aunt, your auntie. Any woman can be your little girl, your daughter, it could be your relatives. So it's a Women's Day, and then we dedicated this day to women. And that's why all of the women that I know, you need to gather here. And if there's nothing, you should understand that VOP actually has come this far. But this is the real deal when you talk about, where you can learn and where you can get things right. All right, so welcome once again. Is Voice of the People is 90.3 FM right here in Lagos. I'm Rahim. You can call me Ryan or Rahim. However, I am good to go with that. Do not connect me with any ethnicity or whatever, or language. Just leave me to be here because, that's why sometimes some people say they are homo. Okay, let me not say it. It literally means that they are actually from no place. They are just them. And if you understand what I mean, you're not going to take that as serious, because these days everybody just want to belong in a particular place, and there is nothing good going on. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's good for you to become be in a place. I mean, be in a small group. Call yourself whatever name you want to call. But then, what is the positivity that you bring into the table? What are you affecting your surrounding, your society, your people around you? Okay. So that's it. So don't connect me to any of that. I am me. I am from heaven. And whatever it is, I'm just here to make you good, make you happy. And so let's go. Today is this Women's Wednesday that we are always talking about. Everything that's got to do with women. It's something that you can learn from. It's something that you can also use it to be a blessing to others. And you can be part of it by calling when the time comes, when the phone lines are open. So we will have that conversation, you and me. Today, I love the way the microphone sounds. Look at that. It's sweet. And I want to pray also, oh Lord, please let the network work, because we have just few. Today, we're not going to stay long. All right. So Dr. Kaite might be listening. She might be watching right this minute. Dr. Kaite has been our ambassador here. Optometrist and then gynecologist, and she's been into this field for a long time, and then she's actually been put together by God to be a blessing to women's health in different fairs. So she is our ambassador for now. She will definitely be talking about so many other things that had to do with conception. We talked about the conception thing. and we've swept into understanding mother and daughter relationship. Okay, all in the same, all in the same series of you know, understanding it. Your mother and daughter relationship is about the same when we started with, which was understanding your body and understanding exactly what to do for you to be able to get a male child and or a female child. Just I can break it down like that so you understand, which we've talked about extensively a couple of days or a couple of weeks ago. All right, so when it gets to 10 o'clock, we will take a break and pay some bills, and then we're going to come back after 10 o'clock and we're going to put her on standby. So I know Dr. Ekaite, I know you're listening and I know you're watching. Okay, so let's start. Before we get into what we wanted to talk about, I just want to let you guys know, just to, bit of time and make you to get ready, that today is National Wildlife Day. And whether you like it or not, I always say, if America, US, is actually celebrating an awareness or having an awareness like this one, is very, very simple. It means that the whole world is actually attached to it. And that's to say that America is a very important place to be, whether you like it or not. Because, for example, you have all the musicians and even the celebrities celebrating the currency, the common currency of the United States. Who have done that? How many people do you see that, wave and spray dollars in an event? Naira in an event somewhere in America. Think about it. It's only here and other countries. So you don't even know. America is like, is in Nigeria. America is in Africa. America is in Asia. America is everywhere. So that's the only way you know that, look, is a big deal, talking about anything that's got to do with them, because they are connected to the world. So National Wildlife Day, September 4th, today is the day they're celebrating it. I just got a couple of minutes to let you know exactly what this is about. And celebrating the wildlife, talking about wildlife, animals, places, and all the wild animals. America marks National Wildlife, yes. And of course, I know that also although countries are also marking the same thing, because it's conjoined. If you understand what I'm saying, America marks the National Wildlife Day today, and it's a greater opportunity, for everyone to step back and take a deep breath. Think about all that surrounds us. It's inspiring to consider preservation and, of course, conservation efforts that work to improve the, natural world. All right. And that's what you see a lot of times. You see on a movie, Natural Wild, or any geographical television, or, you see them catching a big fish, which they're supposed to go and chop. And in Africa, catch that kind of stuff. Definitely any wildlife and animal within around this area caught by any African or Nigerian, they're gonna eat it up. they're going to square it for dinner. They usually think offense or they usually and do correct ewedu, amala. They will usually then do some koi inside the soup. But they're not. You watch these Natural Wild channels, and you watch the wildlife. They catch them and they throw them back to the sea. Like if it's a fish, they throw them back, and then the animals, they also let them go. They train them, use their own money, their fund, all that to train the animals, even if they're wild cats. And then later on, they let the animals to go back to the wild. We can't do that. So this is a lesson for us to learn too. It's not everything we eat. We eat all the wild animals, and then we're also going to eat human beings too. That's real bad. So it's a great opportunity to understand that everyone needs to step back and take a deep breath. Think about our surrounding, what inspires us. We consider the preservation and the conservation effort that work to improve the natural world. So this is the natural world we're looking at. There remains so much to learn in the wildlife. You can actually learn a lot, you know, that can actually teach us a whole lot as human beings. So as Henry David Thoreau once wrote, a guy that's actually fascinated with the wildlife thing. Wildness is a preservation of the world. That's what he said. And we wouldn't agree more. Some people definitely wouldn't want to agree more. But then we will definitely, those of us who love animals, we will agree. Even though some of our animals are not that wild, some are pet. But, it's connected. So let's take a closer look at the special day like this one. And somebody's asking, when is the National Wildlife Day 2024? It's today, of course. So anything that you have to do about wildlife, if you see in your bush, don't say you're a hunter, you're going and you see, you would never want to preserve that kind of stuff. You see, the average Nigerian will kill that wild animal and eat it up. We use it for good soup, pepper soup, and use it to do a lot of stuff. So let's actually boost for the environmentalist movement and, check the environment, allow these things. I mean, we don't look into all this stuff. Even the zoo. How many of you have gone to zoos? Do we even have any zoo here? I don't even want to talk about that. So the National Wildlife Day was actually born. It was created or born. Colleen Page created the National Wildlife Day in honor of the late wildlife conservationist Steve Irwin, and then of course famed the famed crocodile hunter, but he's not that kind of crocodile hunter who hunts crocodile and use it. Some people do. They use the skin of a crocodile to do a lot of stuff, maybe shoes and stuff like that. But I mean, those poachers, they're really crazy. But when the government is actually concerned about this kind of stuff, you definitely will see that we're not going to be abusing some of this, even though we know some of them are wild and they, in the environment, they are actually portrayed dangerous and stuff like that. It's crazy, but it's still something that we need to keep for so much reasons. I can't give you all the reasons now because my time fast going, because we need to take a break. But then shout out to those who are donating for conservation groups. Shout out to those who do the cleanup, who takes care of such thing. I don't know, but I can put my mind to it. But shout out to everyone and those who are actually very good in it. They go to the wildlife and preservation, and they have some of these animals treated and put there. Some of these animals that we can't even find, some of them are actually gone instant. We can talk about this over and over. So shout out to everyone who's doing great, every city, every country who's doing great to keep some of this wild life going, conserve them. And it's a great opportunity for us to see that, look, we need to love animals. There's not much of us that love animals. Huh? Oh, okay. So shout out to my dogs right there. Nana and Captain, shout out to you. Okay, so it's time. Let's get to another thing, which is we're going to take a break. Okay, and when we come back from the break, Dr. Kaite must be waiting. I cannot see her face, but I think she's waiting right now. So we're going to start. And then what we will come back to talk about is what we talked about last Wednesday, and which was understanding mother and daughter relationship. We can actually connect it to and children relationship. What I mean children, I mean, even though you're 60, you might be a child to your mother. You definitely are a child, not might. So even though you're 70 and your parents are still maybe 90 something, 100, you are still a child to them, whether you like it or not. So we definitely will cross over to that boat, and we will see how it goes. So get ready as we as when we come back after the break, so we can deal with that. Last time we had an issue, and technically there was an issue here. Now I don't know if it's going to happen today, but we're going to do things a little bit different. So that's why I'm looking forward to be able to make sure that everything is okay, so we can have a good conversation. And it's going to be a short interview with her. She's got too many things that she wants to say. This, as I said before, it is a series, and this particular episode, we'll get a whole lot. I mean, it will go ahead. We'll take it, small by small. And I don't know if Mr. Chuka is out there listening. Mr. Chuka, if you're listening, do not forget to be part of the show today. Is women's health, is women's, everything about women, is also women's impactation, empowerment, and the knowledge actually is for them. Anything and everything that's got to do with them. So, Mr. Chuka, you have a little idea. Well, let's see how it's going to go. So afterwards, please, all the women gather here, and so you can ask questions afterward. If you don't have any questions to ask, you can get a pen and paper and get all the information you need to get as we engage Dr. Ekaita Eko. Okay, more other doctors will be coming through. More other superior women in different things will be coming. So this is this time around we're talking about women when it comes to health and talking about women relationships, and so that's how we're going to be getting into other areas, just to make sure that we do this right, to get women blessed. I use that word. All right, it's 10 o'clock, and then we're going to take a break. When we come back, it will be the same here, the nighttime show, Women's Wednesday. We're talking about understanding mother and daughter relationship. That's what we have today. And with me and Dr. Kaite, we're keeping her. When we come back after the break, we will start. I've overly overemphasized that. I think it's time for us to go. I'll be right back. Don't go away.
If you want to be heard, say it here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. 90.3 FM.
Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
Saba! Delta State Nigeria comes alive as the city will host the best of African artists at the International Choral and Traditional Music Fiesta under the leadership of the festival's spiritual father and chief host, Archbishop Dr. Daniel Oko, General Superintendent of Christ Holy Church International and President of Christian Association of Nigeria. Asaba hosts the 8th edition of the Africa Sings Festival, an international choral and traditional music festival with great excitement and time of praise. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Oborewori, Governor Delta State. Come and celebrate Africa through workshops, seminars, concerts, and competition. Scheduled to hold from 8th through 13th October 2024. For more information, WhatsApp 0705 340 7629.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries. Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and pressure for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV, building a fair society. Building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Show with Ryan. Let's have a conversation to promote healthy relationships and social issues all in one. That nighttime show is going to be fun, having segments like Dear Ryan, Confessions, Love Talks, Open Mic, and more will put you on the edge of a beautiful night. That nighttime show, it doesn't matter what ships you are on, just tune in every Tuesdays to Fridays on your number one People's Radio, Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. You are live on the nighttime show with Ryan. Let's have a conversation to promote healthy relationships and social issues all in one. That nighttime show is going to be fun, having segments like Dear Ryan, Confessions, Love Talks, Open Mic, and more will put you on the edge of a beautiful night. That nighttime show, it doesn't matter what ships you are on, just tune in every Tuesdays to Fridays on your number one People's Radio, Voice of the People, 90.3 FM.
Okay, so you're welcome to another edition of Women's Wednesday. And I said it before, I'm going to say it again. Welcome back from the break. We just went to take some commercials and paying some bills. Okay, so now we have our doctor who's being on with us. We started with us, and who was the ambassador of this? She is the ambassador, yeah? She's our guest, Dr. Ekaita Eko. You know, if you don't know how to pronounce it, obstetrician, your tongue is going to cut off. She is one, super one, and of course, gynecologist also. And I said that she's been in this industry, you know, the medical industry for over 35 years, I believe. Yes, and she's doing really good. She have the mandate, from God Himself, to be a blessing to all the women out there, to teach them what they need to know, to put them right in, in different ways in their lives, and both the girl child, which we started talking about the pre-selection of gender selection, the pre-sex selection gender. We talked about that, and which we actually told a lot of people here that there's a way, if you're looking for a boy, which is one of the tradition, you must actually do certain things and know your body, and we talk extensively about those things. So this episode right now, like last week, we've decided to change it into understanding mother and daughter relationship, which a lot of people call in, and the opportunity for them, because we had some glitch and technical issues. But now I believe that today it will be good. So we have a couple of people that will call in and ask questions if they want to be my guest. But ladies and gentlemen, please, I don't know if Dr. Kaite is already here. She is a superwoman, a Wonder Woman, not the one you watch on TV, but a Wonder Woman who's got a lot for women. Please, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Kaite Echo. Dr. Kaite, are you there? Okay. All right. Austin? we just have 1 hour. 1 hour to discuss this, and also open line and the phone lines for you to call in and be part of the show. Okay, so while we're trying to connect to her, I don't know, is 11 minutes gone? 11, yes, gone past the hour of 10. Let's see. Okay, so sorry guys, we were just trying to make sure that we hook up with my super duper blessed doctor, who is being with us on the Women's Wednesday. Dr. Kaite, thank you so much for joining us today. This is another Wednesday.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Dr.
Thank
Kaite,
you.
this one you're looking very shiny and looking like an angel of God, and I don't know. I mean, can you explain
All right.
why? Can you explain why the radiation, the glow, like an angel? Because some women will want to know exactly what's the secret. I mean, is that not supposed to be part of our journey and talking about the women stuff? All right.
I suppose it comes from loving what I do.
Oh, see that? Look at that. Look at that. Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's start the show. I am actually very sorry because we were trying to see network. I think network is always a case, but I believe that we will get past that soon. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I don't want to waste your time. I'm going to go straight to the point. Last week we talked about understanding mother and daughter relationship, but we couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
And this week we are actually doing the part 2 of the understanding the mother and a daughter relationship.
Yeah.
So, and then, but you need to get it back. So now, I mean, where we stopped, because we had issues, we're trying to connect, and a lot of people were trying to call, and the glitches and the technicality of the whole thing here was something else, because you weren't listening, there was a little of, I don't know which word to use, but it was crazy. I just want to believe that today we're going to make it simple. So I just want to ask you direct question as usual. Or should we just start from where we stopped?
Okay.
Why is the understanding of the mother and daughter, why is it very important? Can you re-emphasize some of the things that we talked about last week so people will know exactly? And then we'll come back and deal with the issue of all the questions that I personally want to ask because of a lot of questions that I got from people. I hope you're hearing and listening to me, Dr.
Yes.
Okay. I'm very happy to see you. I mean, I'm seeing you, but I don't know if you're seeing me, though. But if you're not seeing me, no problem. So let's re-emphasize the background and the framework of this understanding the mother-daughter relationship, please.
Okay, thank you, Raim, and it's good to be back. And thank God we're able to overcome the network glitches. As a recap, there are many relationships in the human race, and there are many relationships within a family. There is the relationship between the spouses, husband and wife, or the parents, relationship between the parents and the children. There's a relationship between the siblings and each other. And like in the African culture, you have the aunties, the uncles, the grandparents, the cousins and the in-laws, mothers-in-law, fathers-in-law, sisters and brothers-in-law. So we have all those kind of relationships within the human race, the human family, so to speak. What I'm emphasizing on in this particular series, is the relationship between the mother and the daughter. Because in my opinion, and because given my background and my profession in obs and gynae, this relationship is crucial for the passing of wisdom from one generation to the other. A woman is the cradle of the family, and they say it's the cradle also of civilization. She's almost like the thermostat in the home. If she's okay, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, everybody around her will be okay. She's the one who bears the child, the next generation. Yes, you need the father and the mother to conceive the baby, but she carried that child in the womb for 9 months. And research has shown that the state of mind, her physical, emotional, and psychological state during the pregnancy has a lot of consequences on the baby. For instance, if a woman is carrying a pregnancy and is afraid, say she's in a war or a very violent place and she's all the time scared, she releases hormones throughout that pregnancy that will affect the way the child is going to see the world.
Wow.
So it's not just about, it's not a sentimental thing, it's fact, you know. So what I noticed in my profession, all these years, or in my practice, so to speak, not so much profession, in my practice, is that a lot of girls are not availing of the wisdom of their parents. They don't even have access to it because the relationship between the mother and the daughter is not healthy. In many families, it's not healthy. Now, why I think this is something to talk about, or we need to look into this, is that it has devastating consequences in the future. Now, I see a lot of girls who make bad choices or who make errors in their lives. And when I ask them, you know, like, okay, you're making a bad choice or you're making a choice at all, is your mom aware? Are you talking to her about it? Who is guiding you? Who is accompanying you as you make these choices, as you try to discern what to do with your life in the future or with your relationships into the future? And many of them are not talking to their mothers. And they say they can't because of the way the mothers react, and because they just are not free enough to talk about such things with their mothers. When I talk to the women, the mothers themselves, and I'm like, why are you not talking about certain topics, certain taboo topics to your daughters? And they're like, well, sister, it's awkward to talk about things. They're shy about it. They're not comfortable with those topics.
Okay.
So the problem is that the ignorance is becoming more and more expensive. The cost of the ignorance is too high. People are making mistakes and errors into the future. They're running their families based on dysfunction, based on ignorance. You know, I didn't get it from my mom, so I don't know how to give it to my daughter. That's the kind of thing I'm seeing happening a lot. You know, cycles are repeating themselves. And not only is the wisdom not being transmitted, some negative patterns are being transmitted. So I'm just talking now, it's like it's all abstract, but I'm going to cone it down by maybe giving an example. So for instance, I know this lady who has 2 daughters now, and she doesn't get on with them at all. She has 5 children. She has 3 sons and 2 daughters. She's okay with her boys, but she just finds the girls, according to her, stubborn, irritating, rebellious. They don't listen to me. One of them doesn't listen at all. She's wild, and the other one is too quiet. I don't know what's going on in her head, and I don't know how to relate with them. So she kept on and on about these girls. And then at this time I asked her, so tell me, let's forget about your daughters for a while. Tell me, what was it like growing up with your mom? And she said, that woman, if it were not for God, I wouldn't be talking to her at all. She was really mean to me when we were growing up. So it took me a few conversations with her, a few weeks, for her to see that what had happened between her and her mom was transmitting to her relationship with her own daughters. Now, she told me of many mistakes that she made, that if her mother had been closer to her, she would have been able to talk to the mother and she wouldn't have made some of the mistakes that she made in her life. Things like the relationships she had, the way she was in very abusive relationships, she got pregnant very early, what she did with the pregnancies and all that. And she did it all without knowledge of the mother. So she's wishing that if the mother was close to her, she probably wouldn't have been making all those errors and mistakes. And then I asked her, so do you think your own daughters will be able to come to you and share if they're having, if they're confused about decisions they need to make, and if they're going to make mistakes, or if they don't know about certain things and they want to ask questions, do you think your girls will be able to come to you and ask those questions? And she was like, well, if they don't come, it's their fault. I'm here. She couldn't even see that she was repeating the cycle she had had with her mother, with her own daughters. Now, the problem with this is that those, as I said before, those mistakes are expensive. People die. I mean, girls are dying from things like ectopic pregnancy, from badly done abortions, or are dying at childbirth because they're trying to hide the pregnancy. They don't want anybody to know. They want to go and have the child somewhere quietly and then give it out and then come back home and pretend nothing had happened. Girls are having STIs, infections at young ages, teenage, young adulthood, long before they get married, that affect their reproductive potential later in life. They're struggling and they cannot have children because either the womb is damaged or the tubes are damaged or something like that happened to them when they were young, and now they're paying for it in at an older age without being able to even share why what happened unless you really people to dig. So it's really widespread. So what I would really love is for the mother-daughter relationship to be healed so that the mother can at least pass on some of the wisdom that she has now to her daughter in an atmosphere or in a context that is friendly and loving. Not fear, not shouting at her, threatening her, beating her up, putting pepper into her private parts, the kind of things I hear, that
Are you serious?
Oh my goodness.
That's a military drill.
It's worse than military. I tell you, right? It's worse than military.
Hey.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping to happen, that they can get comfortable with these topics and then start talking early with these girls, like open up and let them ask the questions.
Okay.
I know some mothers don't have the answers, but that's okay. They can ask other people to help them with the answers, but they're on this journey together so that the healing can start, the transformation can start, and the mistakes can stop, or at least be reduced.
All right.
Too many girls are getting pregnant and can't tell their moms I'm pregnant. Too many girls are going for abortions and can't tell their moms, look, I did this. So many girls are trying to commit suicide because a boy broke their heart. They couldn't tell their mom they had a boyfriend. They can't tell their mom, did they break up? They can't just talk about women's issues with the person I feel should care the most about them. So that asking the questions in the wrong places, they're getting the wrong answers, and they're making the wrong choices or decisions.
Okay.
Yeah.
You and I know that it's difficult for, as far as I know, my own parents actually dealt with me like it was like I was having a military drill from my own parents. And it's a common thing, it's a predominant thing when you start talking about the way to deal with our kids here. Our parents wouldn't want to take it lightly with their daughters. Like, for example, I'm just trying to be collective in everything, like parents, mother, So sometimes it's even beautiful seeing the mother, most times, you see the mother get along with your daughters, because they're women. Yeah. So you expect that the mom will, pass on some wisdom and some things, some knowledge to the girl child, to her daughter. But most times there is always a mismatch. Why? Because our culture doesn't tolerate certain behaviors from our children, even though we know some of them didn't pick it from their parents. They picked it from outside, maybe from school. And, but so is there any alternative on how to deal and to communicate? Mothers can do it, or parents can. I'm also including parents now, but mother, anyway, can do it to be able to reach out to their daughters so that they can, understand them better. Because if I understand, I've seen it a lot of times where a daughter made a mistake somehow, because you can never tell what they can do. You can never tell what they can do. They're in school, maybe a boarding school. You say you want to put them in boarding school, and you want to put somebody's eye on them. You say, okay, let one of the prefect or the house prefect or whatever be, put an eye on their daughters. But you will find out that something else will be happening. And just a little time, she's pregnant. And then when she comes home to talk about this to the parents and to the mom, it's not going to be easy. So, of course, all the crazy things that you hear about putting Tatashi in the Kwekus and all those things might be a way to drill them, because maybe the parents do not expect that kind of behavior, so they feel that will be the best way to put them to stop. But obviously it's not putting them to stop, it's actually worsening things. So what is the alternative and the best way a mother can actually communicate and get along with the daughter, so the daughter can trust the parents and trust the mother as a confidant and tell her things and be able to get a good relationship and healthy relationship with her?
Okay. Thank you. That's a very good question. I would step a few steps back to say why I think it's gone wrong. Number one, a lot of the mothers are scared. The world out there is not a very safe place for the girl child. The number of girls,
you said that before, and I asked the question: is it the world or Nigeria? And you say it's the world. Yeah.
It's not Nigeria. No, it's not Nigeria. The world. If you hear a lot of stories, whether it's Nigeria, even the civilized world, every place has some danger that you have to protect the girl from. It's not. I don't think it's intended, but it's just the way it is. You have to be careful. You cannot just walk down a lonely road on your own. As a young woman or as a teenage girl, you should go in groups. They'll be telling you stuff like that, go with somebody, go with an escort, try not to be there when it is too dark. There are things that we as women have to watch out for that the man doesn't necessarily have to watch out for. Okay. It's not the same kind of universe we're both living in. Okay. And it's not to blame anybody, just the way it is. Mm-hmm. So a lot of women grow up and they know experiences that they had that they're not good experiences. They know people, their mothers, their sisters, their friends in school, their cousins. They grew up hearing stories of things that went wrong with other young women, with other girls and stuff like that. So now you have this daughter and you're wondering, how do I protect this girl from all the things I know could happen to her? So you're coming from a place of fear. And that fear is not a good place to come from to raise anybody. Yeah. So now you're telling the girl, you're growing up with this girl and you're trying to prevent things from happening. So all the time she's growing up, most times she's hearing from you all the things that you as a mother are hoping will not happen to her. You don't want her to get abused. You don't want her to get pregnant before it's time. You don't want her to drop out of school. You don't want her to mess up with somebody else's husband. You don't want. She keeps hearing all these things. You don't want her to get married and get sent away from her husband's house. You don't want her not to get married because nobody wants her because she's not of good behavior. She grows up hearing all your fears about her. The male child in the same house grows up hearing all your hopes for him, all the things you want him to become. The girl hears all the things you don't want to happen to her. So already there's that. By trying to protect her, you somehow expose her to the things you don't want to happen to her.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's not intentional. Like I said, it's coming from, I want to protect you. I know the things that could happen to you. I don't want them to happen to you. So see what I'm trying to tell you. Now, let me give an example. Today, a lot of women are telling their daughters, look, if anybody touches you here, I want to hear it. Nobody apart from me, maybe me and your dad or me and your sister, nobody is supposed to touch you in your private parts. Nobody is supposed to touch you in your genitalia. Or if anybody does this to you, I want to hear about it. Now, I just want you to put yourself in the shoe of the girl. And your mom tells you, if anybody touches you here, I want you to tell me. If anybody starts playing with you here, I want you to tell me. And the normal, curious little girl is wondering, why isn't my mom wanting to know if somebody knocks me on the head? Why doesn't my mom want to know if somebody slaps me on my back? Are you understand? She's hearing what you're saying, but she doesn't know. She's too young. Her mind is too soft or is too immature to process why. But she just knows that you have particular interest in certain things that might happen to her. Now, so she grows up seeing herself as somebody that could be abused, somebody that could have the wrong end of an experience. But who is going to tell her all the wonderful things that could happen to her? Who is going to tell her how wonderful it is to become a woman? Who is going to tell her, like her beauty, her dignity, her power as a woman?
So in other words, you're saying that a mother should be able to should be raw, and tell them the way things are and the way things it is.
I wouldn't use the word raw, but she should be comfortable.
Okay.
About with her topics. If she's saying to this girl, a girl says, "Mommy, I saw blood coming out of my private part. I'm scared. I think I'm dying," which already is a bad thing, because in my mind, the girl should have known one day she's going to start seeing her menses. But many girls don't. They don't hear about it until it starts. So they see the menses and the mom says, "Okay, come now, dear, you're not dying. What you're seeing is called your periods. It's going to be coming every month. And look, be careful, because from now on, if any man touches you, you're going to get pregnant." So this girl is associating her menstruation with the risk of getting pregnant. It's nothing to rejoice about. It's nothing to be happy about. Now, in some cases, the woman is like, my daughter, now you're becoming a woman. This thing that is happening to you is called menstruation. It's going to be coming every week. It means you're maturing. You're getting to become a real woman. So that means you're going to have to be very careful about your hygiene now. You have to be, whenever the menses come, these are the things you're going to do, how to clean yourself. You're now a woman, that kind of a thing. It's a positive thing. And then she can now insert, because you're now going to become a woman, you have to be careful who you allow to come near you. You need to groom yourself to be the kind of person that when you grow up, you can get married and have your children. It's a positive thing. But what most girls hear is, now you're having your periods. If any boy comes near you, you're going to get pregnant. And listen, if you get pregnant in this house, this will happen to you, that will happen to you. So
to put fear
the education is not complete. The fear comes in. The mother means well, but she's afraid. Especially if the girl starts with an early bloomer, like we talked about last week, and she starts developing early. She looks more mature than her age. The mother then becomes even doubly afraid. What's going to happen to this girl? The girl walks into a room and you're wondering, you watch the guys, you're watching the guys watching your daughter, and you're wondering, my goodness, how do I protect her from all the things that might happen to her? So what I'm trying to say is, the mother herself, this is what happened to her when she was young with her own mother. It's what happened between her own mother and her grandmother. It's a generational thing. It's been happening all down the ages. We're trying to see how can we make it a more positive experience for the mother and daughters to talk about these things. What are the wonderful things she needs to hear about herself, so she's not scared? Can the mother get comfortable with these topics about, menstruation, private parts, her reproductive life, having sex, and can she answer this girl's curiosity without beating her down, without shutting her up? A girl goes to the mother and says, "Mommy, what age do you think I can start having a boyfriend?" And she gets 2 slaps. Boyfriend. Who is talking about boyfriends at this stage? Your mates are in school. Instead of thinking of how to go to school and get a good grade, they're talking about having a boyfriend at this age. How dare you talk about having a boyfriend? The girl hasn't had her question answered. She wishes she knows what she has done wrong now. She just asked a question. Why not sit her down and use that as an opening to a conversation?
That's why, Doc, that's why I said, Africans, our parents are not like what we see outside the country. I mean, in developed countries like America and the rest, they will tell you that even America is spoiled. All those kids, they were spoiled, don't have respect. So this is the best way, whereby you have a very stubborn parent, a woman, and a daughter not getting along. The woman refused to do the right thing. So just to cut things short, what will be your advice for such a woman? Because at the end of the day, we all know that she will be destroying herself by letting the daughter to do whatever she wants to do because she doesn't have a good rapport with her mother. Because obviously you're going to have very stubborn women, mothers to their daughters who want to do it their own way and destroying themselves, through their daughters and stuff like that. How do we get them to do the right thing? And what is the right thing for mothers to do? Which I know you're already talking, but I mean, you need to emphasize it again in a different format so that people who have not heard will hear you.
Okay, what I want to ask mothers to do, first of all, deal with and face your fear. Sit with yourself alone or with other women of your age and actually articulate these fears. Talk about it. I'm scared of this, I'm scared of that. Not with your daughter, with another woman or with another adult. But when you're coming to talk to your daughter, start from the positive. It's never too late to start. Some people think, oh, it's too far gone. I've destroyed my relationship with my daughter already. I can't redeem this. You can begin the conversation with her. Ask her questions. Get to know what is on her mind. Build a relationship that she can always come back and she's not scared of asking you anything. Don't start with from suspicion. I know you're going to get the kind of person I'm looking at you with. I'm the kind of person you are. You are going to do this. This will happen to you. That will happen to you. All negative things. So start with the positive. Tell her she's beautiful. Tell her the things she's doing right. Don't go deep in. Don't go straight into reproductive health because it will be too much of a shocker. Begin with safe topics. Tell her about stuff like, does she cook well? Let her know. Does she sweep the house well? Let her know. Does she take care of her younger ones very well? Let her know. Tell her the things she's doing right. Tell her how well she's doing in school. If you hear good reports about her, forget this nonsense about, her head is going to get swollen, or it's going to blow her head, she's going to get proud. No, because if you never say it to her, one day somebody is going to say it to her outside, and she's going to be like, wow, I never heard this at home before. Someone is going to tell her you're very intelligent. Someone will tell her you're very hardworking. Oh, I love the way you think. I like the way you advise this person. I love the way you work hard. I like the way you clean the classroom or the way you keep everywhere tidy around you. I love the way you dress. Someone is going to say it to her. Wouldn't it be better off if she had already heard it from her mom, the most important woman in her life, and she can say, yes, I know. I love the way you dress. You have a very good dress sense. Oh, I know. My mom tells me this all the time. You know, you're really beautiful. I know. My mom says this to me all the time. She's not seduced by that.
Okay.
Now, I know. Yeah, she already knows. You built a relationship with her. So when somebody tells her that she can come and say to her mom, oh, somebody told me today that I was looking beautiful. I said to her, oh, I know. My mom says it all the time. Or someone said to me, oh, I love the way you read. And he was like, yeah, I know. My mom says I read very well. So she's not dazzled by it from outside. And she can come back and say things to you. So build a relationship with her based on what is she doing well. I know there are many things you're worried about that she's not doing right. Maybe she doesn't sweep well, but she cooks well.
Okay.
Maybe she doesn't cook well, but she washes the clothes well. Maybe she doesn't wash the clothes well, but she listens to you. She's the one who is there when you come back home and she wants to hear, Mommy, how was the market today? Let me help you unpack your bag. What does she do right? Begin to build a relationship with her and let it flow from there. If she's still young, start when she's still young. That she knows that there's a woman she can always come back to. When she asks you questions that you're scared, that where is she hearing this from? Can you calm down inside first and get the information from her? If she says to you, what age can I start having a boyfriend? I know all your radars are going to go off. You're going to be thinking, my God, boyfriend, God, she's still my baby. When did she start thinking like this? Who are her bad friends? Before your mind starts going that direction, calm down, ask her, where did you hear about boyfriends? Why would you want to have a boyfriend? What do you think boyfriend is about? Get from her, start safe and see whether she can feel safe and say things to you. Oh, I heard it in school, or my best friend has a boyfriend, or they're saying that all girls that don't have boyfriends at this age are wasting their time. Let her tell you what she heard. Then you can now bring her your wisdom and say, my dear, it's not true. When I was young, I heard the same thing, but I found out it's not true. Then she can now come back home with other questions. And then you can now know what really she knows. Because most times a woman has no idea what her daughter knows because she's not giving space for the daughter to ask these questions.
And so many of them will want to give room. Some of them are so careless. Some mothers are so careless. They actually, give the opportunity for their daughter to misbehave by giving them a phone loaded with things. The internet is actually a crazy place. I mean, I don't see any reason why a mother would give a child of 6, 7 years old to play. You think it's a game that they want to play. They tell you, Mom, I want to play a game. There are a lot of underage girls that were lured. They lured them, in the socials and to a particular place after school. And because that's the only place you can see them, lure them to a corner and they were raped. That brings me to asking you the last question, if this will be the last question, because I don't want to keep you long. Maybe I'm going to put it together. First, two questions. I've asked you one of this question before last week, and it's still what a lot of people are asking me. At what age can I start talking to my girl about sex? At what age would I start talking to my girl about pregnancy and everything that had to do with your body, which you've explained, but not straightforward. It wasn't a straightforward. Do we have any age where we can, tell people that, look, at this age, start speaking this wisdom to them? As that, don't, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that will go. And then the last one is, I got a message that, and it says, I was abused as a child in my parents' house by a relative, and I am actually scared the same thing will happen to my daughter, but my husband does not understand, and we have male relatives living with us. What do I do? So these are the two questions. Maybe you start first with the real quick, the first one, because some people they still want to know about that. The people who listened last week, they did not, there are different people listening today, so
yeah,
you can make do with that.
All right, thank you. Yeah, that's a very common question. What age do I start? As soon as they can start talking. You don't have to go into the deep topics first, but things like demystify some topics. Like talk to her about her body. This is your body. This is your eye, your nose. This is your vagina. This is where you pee from. This is where you poo from.
So you should be able to call the names and not to call. Is it good to call the names like this is your vagina, not to say this is your. This is your.
Some people are very modest about this, and they feel uneasy about it. But give it a name that she can recognize. Some people call it. So I hear many mothers give it different names. Some say your bum, some say your this. But what I'm trying to say is give it a name that she can recognize. Now, some women are afraid if they tell the girl this is your vagina, she might go asking in school, "Oh, teacher, auntie, where's your own vagina to?" And then everybody's embarrassed. So they usually find a name that is appropriate for the age.
No,
but they should know.
But is it bad? Is it bad if they go and ask their teachers because they are on the know, they want to know, and they have a knowledge? So why would it be a bad thing if a child go ask the teacher or a lecturer that, where is your vagina to? And I need to learn about this. I thought that my mom taught me. Is it a bad thing?
Okay, so remember that the teacher is not on this program. She's not where we are yet. So she might find it very embarrassing. If the teacher is on the same page with the mother, there'll be no issue. She will know how to handle it.
Okay, so
but in some.
Okay, so if the woman, I'm engaging you today. If the mother says, the mother didn't call it vagina, he calls it maybe bum, let's say.
Yeah.
And she goes and said the same thing to a teacher, from example, not vagina. Is she gonna get upset? Will she be embarrassed?
Many women will not be very comfortable with calling their private parts in public. This is why we are where we are today, because many of these topics, as I said, are taboo topics in many families, among many women, even married women. So it's not everybody that's on the same page with this. Even some women, if a girl said to her, "Mommy, I saw my mom's bum," they'll call it the mother to the school and say, "What's going on with your child?" One of my friends was talking about her son. Her son was in class, and the teacher was trying to talk about how babies are, how babies are born or how babies are conceived, and she was trying to make it into, God is the one that puts the child in the tummy, that kind of a thing. And she said, her son said, "No, that's not what happens. A woman and a man, your mom and dad will have sex, and then you will get your mom will get pregnant. That is how the baby gets into her womb. That's how it's not about Jesus putting the baby there. That your parents had sex." Her son was 8. The mother was summoned to the school and told to be careful about what she tells her son, that he embarrassed the class. So you see, the mother knew what she was trying to do. She was teaching her children as she could, but the school teacher and the other people in the class are not on the same page with her. And you have to be socially intelligent. You can't just say, because I want to do this for my children, everybody has to accept it. So you have to find a way to get your child to know that everybody is not the same. everybody's not mommy. You can't talk about this with anybody because some people might get embarrassed.
Okay, so
but you need her to know what she's talking about. So you begin early and just talk about her body parts and what happens. How
if I
she
may
ask questions
I'm sorry, Dr. Kaite. Could you
Yes.
could you get the number, the digit? I want to hear digits like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. What?
I can't do that because all the kids are not the same.
Okay.
I cannot say there's some children you can talk to at 2 and they're fine. Some you
Okay.
could talk to at 3, some you could talk to at 5. A mother would know when she could start talking to her children.
All right.
But what where I have a problem is when you leave it so late that something happens before you say it. Some kids at 2 years are very verbose. They can talk, they can understand. Others at 3 years can't form a sentence yet. So I cannot tell you, at 2 years old, this is what you're going to do with every child. And some children are very bright. They're very, very intelligent. They watched programs, they listen to conversations, and they come home. So you may have to go faster with those ones than the ones who are kind of laid back and are not as picking as well. So I can't tell you 1 year or 2 years. That's why I said as soon as you can have a conversation with her, start. Start simple. And then when they come with the questions, go at their pace. Like every other topic in the world, you cannot create a syllabus for this. But you know your child and know what you can talk about. You could have 3 daughters and know the first one I can make her take care of her younger ones at the age of 5. She will do it. The other one, she's 10, but I still can't do that with her and her younger ones. So there are different rates of maturity. But as soon as she can talk, as soon as she understands this is my eye, this is my nose, at least introduce her to her body parts.
Okay.
And let the conversation continue to evolve from there.
All right.
They're going to come with questions and you're going to keep talking to them. You're trying to make sure she appreciates her body, number one, that she's a woman different from her brother who is a man. So she's not wondering why, like what one girl says to the mom, why does my brother have a different private part from me? I want the same type as my brother.
For real.
You see, so you can use that as an entry point to a conversation. Come sit down, let's talk about it. I'll tell you why your brother is different. So there's no template, there's no syllabus to say this is how on day 1 say this, on day 2 say this. It's going to evolve, just like your relationship with yourself is going to evolve, and with her it's going to evolve. Then until it gets to other things like maybe her menstruation, she starts asking, how did this baby get into your tummy? How much can you tell her? It depends on your level of comfort, not on the baby. It depends on you. If you're comfortable with the topic, you can say things to her, as that is age appropriate. So she starts asking, how did the baby get into you? You're not going to start explaining to her, this is how sex happens. You're going to say, mommy and daddy came together and they had the baby is in my womb. Because your mom, your dad, and me came together, and then this is what is happening. As she grows older, coming together will be explained better. But if your child gets to 12 or 13, and she's never heard about sex from you, about menses from you, about pregnancy from you, about being a woman and hygiene, you're late. But it's better late than never. Still do something. Don't decide, it's too late to do anything about it. But let her, my big thing is not so much the information as the relationship. That she can always come back to you and ask the questions as she gets them. That she's not afraid to do that. That there's no question too big, because if she's asking it, that means she's ready to hear the answer to some extent. So what you're going to tell her at 3 years and what you're going to tell her at 15 years is going to be very different. What you're going to tell her at 8 years, what you tell her at 20 will be very different. But can you be her source of information and relationship? Is what I would tell the mothers. When they ask me that question, I know that the problem is not the age of the child. The problem is the level of comfort of the mother with the topic. Once I get them comfortable, they know exactly what to do.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Now, the second question.
Yeah, about the abused.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So shall I read it
I
again?
will just touch on that today because it's a whole topic.
All right.
But since somebody wants to know,
no, it's okay. We can leave it till next week. We can leave that one till next week. Let me open the phone line so a lot of people might have
Okay, all right.
A lot of people might have calls. I mean, some question to ask you because my time is already close to. It's just 6 minutes to the hour of 11 o'clock, and we were supposed to do this for 1 hour. And this thing is quite deep now. You seeing it? It's a deep thing. So we will talk and talk and talk. I don't think 1 hour is even enough. But let me just cut that and see the other questions will be asked next week Wednesday. And let me open the phone line 0700 903 903 903. That's the direct line. Call me right away and ask question. Dr. Kaite is waiting for you. Hello. What is your name? Where are you calling from? And what is your question? Hello? Not again. Hello.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay. Go ahead. Ask your question.
My name is Edidiang Ekpo.
Edidiang.
Yes, Ekpo.
Edidiang Ekpo. Are you?
Yes.
Are you? Do you want to? It sounds like our doctor Kaite here. Please don't. Do you want to tell me that you are the sister? You want to stress the name to make us know that you are the sister. You people came from the same. Look, take your time. Oh.
That is it now. That's how
I know.
the goodness.
Of course, I know that's why you call it.
Yes, so normally we that from where we from, Akwa Ibom.
Mm.
Yeah. There is some mothers that left their children at the age of 1, 2 age, and they leave it to the father, and the father gets and marry another wife. And the wife the other mother will not be able to lecture these children to that level that she's talking about. Another one, so how those children that is with another person call a woman will now learn all these things that she's talking about. Another question is that what of the mother that is not educated to do all these things, to teach the children all these things? Another question is also that what is the mother that is civilized, and the mother is civilized, and the mother is painting her head red, and the daughter too is painting her head blue, and the mother is wearing bone short, and the daughter is wearing a mini skirt.
No, don't
And
start.
they are going out for the market. So, because of the civilization that they have gotten, and the thing is getting that way. So, how will we look into that?
Okay.
Edidion,
Thank you
please.
very
Thank you
much.
very much for calling. Just listen. Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. I'll take the first one. The first question he asked was if the mother of the child is not there and the child is growing up with another woman that the father remarried.
Exactly.
When I have these programs with the women, I beg them, your motherhood is not custom designed only for your biological children. When I say mother here, I'm saying biological mother, but I'm also saying the mother figure. Many women have taken on the role of mother for many kids are not their own. So if the stepmom is not able to do it, there should be somebody in the family who can do it. An auntie, a grandma, or there's somebody in the wider circle, in the wider community, maybe in the village they're living in the church they attend. I know a teacher who is doing this for many of her female students. Many of them. The mother won't tell them anything. She's the one who calls them and tells them what it means to be a woman. Not once, not twice. She has several conversations. And these girls feel very comfortable coming to her when they are in dilemma, when they're confused, trying to understand their feelings or their bodies. So if the biological mother is not available to do it, there are other women I encourage that please do it. Sometimes the biological mother is there. She's alive, she's in the house. But to use the example he just gave now, For some reason, maybe she's damaged by her own growing up, by what happened to her when she was young, or by an abuse situation that she has not recovered from fully. She mightn't be the best role model for the daughter. In that wise, somebody else steps in and helps that girl, gives her what she needs, grooms her to become the kind of woman society will appreciate. So it mustn't always be the biological mother. If you are a woman who is able to do this, can do this for a lot of girls. A lot of girls. So I think that will answer all three of his questions. Like if the mother is not there, what happens? If there's a stepmom who will not do it, what happens? Or if a mother is a bad role model, I'm using the word bad, but it's not able to role model rightly for her daughter. Other women can do this. We can help each other out. So some women are not just able. Like we talked about abuse, we mentioned abuse. Some women who were terribly abused as in their childhood or in their teenage years.
Okay.
They have issues when they become mothers.
All right. I said it before. We're going to talk about that next week because since you said we will expatiate is really a big question. You will like to say a lot of stuff. So let me just save it because of time so we can talk about this next week, Wednesday. But now I got a caller and I want... Hello. I don't know who is online and what is your name? Where you calling from? And please ask your question right away. Uh-oh. Hello. Okay. Hello.
Hello, I can hear you. We just had a power cut.
No, not you. I'm trying to get a caller. Aha. That's the... Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right. Maybe caller, maybe you should call back. And this looks like Mrs. Kenny. It looks like Mrs. Okay, Mrs. Kenny, is that you? Hello? All right, Mrs. Kenny, maybe you should call back. 0700 903 903 903. All right, so I know that Dr. Kaite, I know you were there. This is Niger, so I understand. It's quite embarrassing, but it's okay. It's one of the things that we're fighting for, and they say we shouldn't talk about these things. But, I mean, I've never seen anywhere, all the countries, even the African countries have been, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Benin, Mali, all the African countries that have been, I have never seen this kind of stuff before. I mean, we give electricity to other countries celebrating 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and we were celebrating 5 hours, 6 hours, 15 hours. It's a shame for Nigerians, but I pray it will be better. I pray it will be better. Okay. Dr. Kaito, maybe we'll just take you off and then we'll put your picture there. Because right now you're stressing yourself, but just keep listening because there's a caller. Keep listening, please. Hello, what is your name, please?
Hello.
Good evening. What's your name? Speak out, please. Let me hear you. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, this is Mrs. Kenny. Can you hear me now?
All right, Mrs. Kenny, I can hear you loud and clear.
Right. Okay, I'm wanting to start from the top. You mentioned something about, calling the specific body parts their name.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to start with a story. There's a movie that, an American movie, a preschooler, she walked up to her teacher. Her teacher's name is Miss Smith. She said, Miss Smith, and Miss Smith said, yes, Francine, how can I help you? And she said, boys have a penis and girls have a vagina. So there's nothing wrong with calling the body parts their real name.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's that, saying that out there. Then with reference to relationships with children, I have another story to tell. So we took our children we went to the Houston Zoo. I'm just trying to use it to juxtapose it to the relationship that parents should have, daughters should have with their children.
Okay.
Okay. So we went to the Houston Zoo, and we went to the lion's den. And this beautiful lioness, actually, or is it a lion? Either a lion or a lioness, beautiful animal.
The one,
was lying down.
the one with a lot of hairs is the lion, and the lioness is the one without hairs.
Let's say it's a lion then.
Okay.
This handsome lion. Okay, in that zoo, there is a part that actually is made of glass, and the glass is very thick. So this handsome lion was lying down with his back against the window, the glass window. And that lion is about just the back from the head to the rump was about 9 feet long. And this lion was just lying, he was in tranquility. And my son walked up to the window and knocked on the window. And the lion raised up his head and turned his head. Every one of us, we ran the way out of there. My son was walking gently out of that.
Okay, Mrs. Kenny, your line is breaking.
Okay. Is it better now?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to try to be as slow as possible. Long story short, is that he roused that lion and everybody rushed out except for him, who walked out gently out of that den. What I'm saying in essence is that when we have a relationship with our children, they're going to come with shocking questions. Questions we never expected them to ask. What I suggest we should do is to remain calm and not be shocked and not be surprised and not be reactive, and actually use it, as Dr. Kaito said, as an opening, opportunity to really delve into what the children have questions about. And you'll find out that when you answer your children's questions, they would now be able, to ask you even deeper questions and be comfortable with your suggestions. And also, you yourself as a parent should be open to hear their feedback. And sometimes the children will actually engage in, say, you know what, not only in matters that have to do with, menses and all that. I'm talking about life in general. Mom, I don't think so because of this. I don't think so because of that. And then when you hear them through, you hear them out, then you now leverage your wisdom to them and say, well, this is why I'm thinking this way. You should be very open for your children to actually be able to tell you the truth. Because if they do not tell you the truth, they're going to discuss it outside there. So I'm really thrilled by, the conversations that Dr. Ekake had. There was one particular situation that, and when I'm standing with my children, of course, you know that I'm the mom, right? Mm-hmm. But when we are actually holding a conversation, that separation is not there. We all are talking on the same level because I put the walls down. There are no barriers. So I was holding this particular conversation with them. And at one point they said, Mom, no, I don't think so. That sounds like H, a word that starts with H and ends with Y. I said, why would you say that it sounds like hypocrisy? They respected me and not saying that it is hypocrisy. Oh, okay. I said, why do you say? I said, why do you say it sounds like hypocrisy? I said, well, because you said this, you said that. So by the time I broke it down to them, I said, you know what? It's not hypocrisy because I'm not in a position to judge anybody. This is my own position. I'll give you an instance. If I'm telling somebody that I believe that you should not have premarital sex, and then a woman is pregnant, and she's going to the altar. And I'm, rejoicing and everything. They're expecting me to criticize the woman, for being pregnant, going to the altar. The mom, is that not being hypocritical? I'm like, no, it's not being hypocritical. Yes, she made a mistake. She got pregnant, and now she's getting married, so she's fixing that error. But it's not in my place to judge her. So I give that open door for conversation. And by the time I have these conversations with them, it's okay, Mom, I can see your point of view in that you're not judging someone. You have your own standards, but you're not forcing it on other people. So I'm encouraging that parents should be open for their children to actually give them feedback. And if the feedback they give you doesn't quite fit the mold of who you are, you should be free to explain yourself without, sounding authoritative and, as if you're defending something, as if, you're about to kill someone. And you find that the children will constantly come back to you. And even when they have critical decisions to make, guess who the first person they'll call? It's Mom. Mom, what do you think about this? I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about it. And when they're doing something that is not quite right, just bring the Holy Book and show them, this is what the Holy Book said. So you decide, because ultimately it's between you and God.
Okay.
So that's just pretty much what I'm,
All right.
So I'm enjoying the conversation. It's
All
great.
right. Thank you, Mrs.
All right.
Kenny. All right.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Dr. Kaite, Mrs. Kenny.
Yes, yeah.
Mrs. Kenny's just trying to. You heard what she said.
I did, yeah, and I agree. You see, the thing is, I stand with these mothers, and I understand the hesitancy. For many of them, I understand their fears. I understand why they find these things difficult.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
But it takes time, and
right.
not to feel intimidated that they can do it.
Okay.
They can. Yeah. I agree with
All right, Dr. Kaite, sorry for cutting you short. I got a caller. Hello, what is your name and where you calling from? And please, your question, please.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Man. Okay. 0700 903 903 903 is the number you can call real quick and tell me where you're calling from. And of course, go ahead and ask your question. Hello, what is your name, please? Hello. What's your name?
I'm calling from Oshodi.
What's your name? Okay. I think I thought for a second everything was going smoothly, but then 0700 903 903 903 is the number you can call right away. Ask your question. Dr. Kaite is on board. Hello, what is your name?
Hello.
Good evening.
Ekbo is back.
Ekbo, why? Why will Ekbo be? Why will Ekbo be calling twice? Ekbo, call back. Wait, let me answer all the people. And your own is going through this. It's not going through. What are you doing? Are you using witchcraft or are you using something? I don't know. All right. I've been cutting Dr. Kaite because I want you to ask your question. So I'm looking forward to hear from you. Hello. What is your name?
Hello, good evening.
Good. Good evening to you. What is your name, please?
My name is Doris, calling from Ago.
All right, Doris from Ago. Doris, please ask your question to Dr. Kaite.
Okay. My question is that, though I'm a mother, but while I was not yet married, my mom used to discuss with me about how mothers do give birth. But during that time, I always try away from it. And I don't feel like hearing it because it irritates my ears. Are you getting me?
Mm-hmm.
But if I hear it from outside, I feel more comfortable from hearing it from them because the reason why I was feeling so uncomfortable with my mother is that maybe she might be looking at me, trying to monitor me, trying to know when this is going that way or that is going that way. So I don't really know why the thing happened to me during that time. That's my question.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you for calling and then for that question. Dr. Kaite, go ahead, please.
I think she has just buttressed my point The issue wasn't the information. The problem was the relationship. The topic was not awkward for her. The topic was awkward for her with her mother. Outside the house, it wasn't awkward. She could ask the questions, she could get the answers. But in her mother's presence, she felt, she didn't feel free. This woman is looking at me, she's monitoring me. I don't even know what question I will ask now. I'm getting into trouble. I can't even be free.
Okay, Austin, we just lost the connection there. We're gonna connect Dr. Kaita right away. So you just hold on for us, okay? But then I can still hear your what's it called? I can still hear from you. You can call the number 0700 903 903 903. You see, I actually wanted to make it 1 hour, but now it looks as if it has to be more than that. Okay, so I have 15 minutes. So Austin, can we connect her again? Okay. All right. So, I mean, I know a lot of you are listening from far and near. This is Voice of the People. This is VOP 90.3. And looking forward to hear from you. Okay. And we are talking about understanding the mother-daughter relationship. And when they've been able to buttress on so many issues and connection, why this is happening, why that's not happening, what the mother should do. And when we say mothers, because it's Women's Day, so yeah, it's a women's show, it doesn't mean that the fathers wouldn't be there. So if you are a father and you're also listening, it is also your duty to also listen, because sometimes you can be the mother. Sometimes you definitely gonna be the mother, because somebody just talked about it. Look, and I don't even know why they say it's only women that can take care of their children. Men can also do the same. I can do it. If I can do it, and I tell you my own experience, you're not going to believe it. So, I mean, you don't even look at people and say, okay, because you look somehow, or you look like a playboy, you're not going to do, I get that a lot. Some people say, oh, you look this way. You don't judge people by the way they look. Just because somebody's fat doesn't mean that he cannot backflip. Look at Austin is a fat guy, a handsome guy. That doesn't mean that Austin doesn't know how to do a lot of things. So people always put this thing, with what they can do, what they can't do. You see somebody, you say, oh, man can't do this, man can't do. A lot of men are doing it. I've seen, and I know a lot of men who are acting as the mother, okay, what about Paulinus? I know Paulinus is listening. Paulinus, who had an accident, the wife left him with 3 kids, 2 boys and one girl child. I mean, he's still the one trying to help to do. He's living with his 3 kids, and he's the one trying to help, even though he doesn't work. For a moment there, I thought that, the Lord God has asked you to, stay away from talking. But anyway, thank you for coming back. We're going to make it short. It's just a little time, like 10 minutes, and we're out of here. So right now, you were saying something because of the last caller who said what he said. So go ahead, please.
Yeah, I don't know where it broke off, but I was saying that she has just buttressed my point. She said she was not uncomfortable with the topic. She was okay with the topic. She was just not okay with the topic with her mother. Outside, she said she was fine, but she didn't want to hear from the mom because she didn't know how the mom was listening to her, whether the mom was monitoring her. Maybe she didn't know what questions she would ask and get into trouble. So she wasn't so comfortable with it but outside she was okay, because then she understood what the agenda was, how to get into trouble, or how is this woman looking at me? Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm trying to say, that it's more about the relationship you build than about stuffing the child with information. It's not about just passing information. It's about building a relationship. I have a friend who went and she first thought her girls were too young for this kind of conversation. One was 11, one was 13 or 14 or so. And I said, no, they three of them, three girls, one 11, one 14, I think one 12 or thereabouts. And she kept telling me, I think they're too young, they're still very small. I said, why don't you try talking to them and see what happens? And then she came back and said to me that she talked to them and they all looked at her with their face. That's what I'm trying to explain, that if mothers could get comfortable with the topic, the girls will come talking to them. But if they're not comfortable, you just call them for this important talk one day. Can I see you tomorrow? Come and sit down here. And then as if it's an official kind of meeting. You can't have a good conversation that way. And for most mothers, that's what it is. Get this over and done with. I'm not comfortable with it either. And the daughter can sense the mother's discomfort with the topic. Mm-hmm. So we all need to get, it's not the mother's fault. Society has made it like the less women talk about these things, the more innocent and desirable they are. And it's not true. We're suffering consequences of this ignorance every day. I see things in the hospital every single day. Some women don't even know their how many months pregnant they are because they don't want to talk about their last menstrual period. Some of them come too late to hospital for some symptoms because they don't know how they're going to describe it to the doctor. So we've made all these things taboo topics and we're suffering the consequences of it from childhood to teenagers to adolescents to adulthood to old age. All levels of being a woman, there's some things we can't talk about. So I'm just trying to say, build a relationship, get comfortable with the topic yourself, and then allow them to talk about it with you. I know it's going to be hard because, as I said, maybe you didn't talk about it with your own mom. Your mom in your house, those things were not talked about. I saw a couple last month. Their husband and wife, for God's sake. But there's so many things the wife does not allow the husband even talk about. Because growing up, it was like, no, if you want to be holy, you don't talk about these kind of things. Now she's in a marriage relationship and she can't shake off that old mentality of, to be a good girl, you don't have to talk about things like this. And the husband is like, no, we're married. I'm your husband, for God's sake. And she's still shy about those topics. I've met 40-year-olds who are shy about topics. I've met women who have finished having their children. They've had their last child and they're still shy about some topics.
Okay.
So it's not the woman's fault. I'm not blaming any mother. And I would like to help mothers to become more comfortable with this.
But I will blame mothers. Some mothers, according to the last caller who said they remodel their child, their daughter, to the market. And so many of them are actually, do you know that I was talking to somebody, I think that was Judah downstairs, and I said, from my investigation, I'm not trying to put a girl child down. I have a daughter.
Yeah.
So I figured out that children of these days are so something else. I don't know which word I can use to quantify it. The girl child itself is so, and that's why I ask you about the father figure, because someone said, some elder statesman said, when the man is around where there's a girl child, that girl child might not misbehave because, he listened because of the connection, the Oedipus Rex connection. The female child is always having a connection with a male child, and they can always obey the male child. Let me tell you a story before we close. I mean, there's no time, but we're going to continue this next week. I'm going to put down all of these questions again. I'm going to bring it up. So I've got a daughter, in case a lot of people don't know. I'm announcing it. I have a daughter, and a very beautiful one. When my daughter is with the mother, she doesn't have the slightest chance to be normal. She can go crazy and do a lot of crazy things when she's with her mom. She can do crazy things. But when my daughter is with me, whether anything is itching her, whether she's actually perturbed about something is stressing her, she will not move. She will always going to be looking at me, my reactions, and I don't even need to be her. I just look at her if I don't like something, and she'll look into my eyes, and she will know that because there is a connection. That is super connection. So many mothers don't have that kind of connection. that spiritual connection is not there. The emotional connection is not there. And that's one of the problems we're talking about. So I'm going to give one more person a call. I know, Dr. Kaito, you listen to me, right?
Yeah, I heard you, and I am hearing you with a lot of yeah. Like, if you don't mind me asking, how old is your daughter?
She's 13 now. When
Okay.
she was 1, 2, she was with me, but afterward she had to go be with the mother. So I mean, that period,
Okay.
1, 2 years old, and that was happening.
Yeah, you see, the relationship with a child with the parents evolves over time. And that is where I usually step in, because you see a mother and a daughter who tells you, oh, we're very close when she was a child. Now she's a teenager and she won't even talk to me. And the same thing with the father. So the relationship with the parents evolves as the child continues to grow. You are a different father to your 1-year-old than you would be to your 13-year-old. Very, very different. Even if she grew up with you, it will still have changed over time. The mother is a different mother to her a 5-year-old than she is to the same child when that child is 18.
No, but what I'm saying, what I'm saying, I don't know if you get a picture. I don't know if that's what you're saying. Father figure, very important for a man to be in or with the daughter, because the daughters respect their father more than the mothers. I don't know if you can doubt that. I mean, if you can
I would say yes if the father is healthy. I won't generalize it. I would say yes. For
Healthy
a
in
healthy
what context?
father,
Healthy in what context?
because we just finished talking about abuse.
Oh,
Yes. And
No,
this
but
is more rampant
with
than
the fathers.
we want to talk about here.
Okay,
Oh,
so
yes.
let's talk about it next week. My time was done.
Next week, yeah, we can't go into it now. Yeah. So for a healthy family, yes, the father is important, the mother is important. When the father or mother is dysfunctional, it doesn't help the child.
No, but
Whether or not the mother or the father.
Oh, okay, yes, but we're not talking about the dysfunctional man here. We're talking about a functional, profound, functional father figure.
A father figure is very important in a child's life, the girl child's life. He provides security, he provides stability, he provides a standard that she can go for when she's growing up. It's important to have a father figure in a girl's life. It's also important to have the mother in the girl's life.
Right.
Both parents have their roles and their duties, very distinct. What I came to talk about, what I was trying to emphasize on today was I wasn't trying to put down the role of the father. I was just trying to emphasize the role of the mother, and where it's broken, what happens to the child later in life.
Exactly.
You know, if she's not able to do that. So both parties are very important for the girl to be rounded and integrated in her growth.
Dr. Kaite, we're going to continue next week, and I want to appreciate you for coming. So thank you so much. I am not in my element. I would love to be in my element today. I tried to, but the microphone today is beautiful. Not like yesterday was terrible. And I know because I'm the one talking. And then, of course, the last week, the connections and everything was crazy. And I didn't intend to stay that long. So I'm sorry about that. I apologize to you. So thank you once again for coming on board. Please, anyone who wants to talk to Dr. Kaite, you want to get her, you want to send her a DM to Dr. Kaite, or you want to reach out to me, please, please send me a message and I can connect you to Dr. Kaite. And if you want to reach out to Dr. Kaite real quickly, you can go on her socials, on her socials. These people, I have troublemakers here in the house. So if you want to reach out to Dr. Kaito, please, you can do it at her socials, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Okay, it's simple. Just type, look for. Don't put doctor because she's a very simple person. She just puts what's it called? Ekaite Echo, right?
Yes,
Look for a
that's all.
Kaite
Yeah.
Eko. And please, when you see any picture, look for a picture. Dr. Kaite Eko, what picture do you have in all of this? Do you have your regalia on, or do you have something else?
Honestly, I can't remember. I have to check because I keep changing. I have to
Okay.
check.
All right.
I think in most of them I'm just plain. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So, I mean, she's very pretty. She's very fair skin, light skin. Let me use the word very fine. Yes, she's pretty. And check her if it's a fair person and she look very, or if you see any regalia that had to do with the sisterhood thing from the Catholic Church, fine, that's her. It's very simple because I know definitely you will find something else like there's other of Ekaite. Jude is jealous because I'm saying that. Jude is jealous. Jude is jealous about what I'm saying. Okay, so so look for her on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Okay, Ekaite is Ekaete, and Ekop is Ekop. Ekop. Ekop is very simple. Ekaepe, and then surname is Ekop. That's Ekaite on Instagram, on Facebook, and of course on LinkedIn. Ekaite, thank you so much, Doc, for coming by.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good night and God bless. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right. So the bottom line is very simple, is building a strong mother-daughter relationship. It involves understanding each other and practicing open communication, which a lot of us we don't do it. Even in our relationship of father and mother, it's difficult. Second thing, the key takeaway is establishing healthy boundaries, respect, and empathy strengthens bonds and contributes to a rewarding connection. And then three thing I'm going to tell you for your takeaway tonight is navigating conflict and prioritizing emotional well-being support the growth and the resilience of the mother-daughter relationship. So the mother-daughter relationship is very important. And I feel as if I'm a mother too, because I've been there before. And that's why next week we're going to talk about and include those single fathers who are acting as mothers also, who can cook, who can do everything, who can wear pampas, and those not the dysfunctional ones. Why do we even have dysfunctional men as father figures? That's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for calling. We will continue this part 3 of the understanding mother and a daughter relationship. Part 3 will continue it. And for those who are sending me text messages or messages on a WhatsApp portal, I don't know. Let me see if I can read it. If it's something I can read. If it's not, then okay. What? Oh, all right. So I see you guys later. Thank you so much. Tomorrow is Trending Thursday. We will be talking about the state of the nation. Too many things is about to happen. The PMS has actually gone to another level. Is it a monopoly? Is somebody trying to monopolize this whole thing so we can have hikes of PMS and then so they can produce lesser, and you think they're doing us favor? We're going to talk about all of that tomorrow from 9:30 p.m. on the State of the Nation. That is Trending Thursday tomorrow. Thank you so much. My name is Rahim, and I'll see you guys on the next one. God bless. Be lifted.